Good evening. As I said, we had two very special guests that are from out of town, and I just now met them, so we're all going to get to catch up on the last 20 years. I'd like to introduce to you Leigh Livsey Van Blarcom now, and Dennis Bills. Leigh and Bill, it's of course great to see you, and there's so much to catch up. We'd like to begin maybe with, what did you do after you graduated from McClure?
Well, I went on to college at Iowa Wesleyan, and I was an art major. And then I taught school a little bit in Lindbergh and then in Charleston, South Carolina. I had to get an accent in there. Then I met my husband, and we lived for a while in Chicago, and now we're in New York. We've been in New York about 8 years.
Wow, that's great. What about you, Bill?
Well, I stayed out of school for a year after high school, and then decided to attend Southwest Missouri State University. And I attended school for 2 years, and then dropped out and went in the Marine Corps Reserves, and then went back after my 6 months active duty and received my BS degree and my master's degree from Southwest.
That's wonderful. All right, now while we're on the subject, since you got your education quote, what did you do with it once you got your master's degree?
Well, a period of time between the time I received my BS degree and my master's degree, I worked for the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Springfield, U.S. Medical Center. Worked there for about 5 years. Then after I received my master's degree, I left the Bureau of Prisons, and since then I've been working for the State Department of Secondary and Elementary Education.
Excellent, excellent. In Springfield?
Yeah, in
right.
Springfield.
That's great. Leigh, what have you done since college?
Well, I taught school for a while. Now I'm in real estate in New York, and we're opening a new seaport down in the heart of Wall Street area, which is historic ships and museums. So we're opening next week, so I hope a lot of St. Louisans will come on out and look me up.
That's
so
fantastic. Well, now I remember you visited us in the islands. I used to live in
Right.
St. Thomas, and you were hoping to open a business in Tartola, but like I said, it may not work out in Tartola.
Right.
Things
so,
move rather slow down there.
Yes, it does.
Which probably keeps it so nice and peaceful.
Right.
Well, all right, the next on everyone's mind probably, I should say a little bit about myself too,
Yes.
is that I went back to school just recently. I was one of those who got married and quit school and began a family, and what I've done now is recently returned to Flo Valley, and I'm very impressed. I have found some excellent professors, and I'm just really excited about it, so it's been a good journey for me. I know we'd like to know, how about your family? If any of you have children?
Go right ahead.
I've been real busy. I've got 3.
You have 3.
I have a 13-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
And what are their names?
The 13-year-old is Shannon, the 4-year-old is Ty Kessinger, and the 2-year-old is Kinsey.
Ah, that's beautiful. And you have brought them with you?
No.
No, like I said, you haven't brought them with you?
No, I haven't. The 13-year-old's in basketball camp at Missouri Southern right now.
Much too busy.
Much too busy. And the only time we get correspondence is, please send money.
Normal?
Right.
Good to know you have normal.
No, I
healthy
will be
children?
bringing the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old up Friday.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, for myself, I have a 14-year-old daughter who's taller than me, very beautiful and very graceful, a 7-year-old daughter who's also very beautiful and very graceful, and a 1-year-old son. And I think I couldn't be more proud of all of them. They're just the joy of my life. From this point, I think maybe we want to talk a little bit, like, with the reunion coming up. I mean, we have, of our class, 514 that graduated, and we have over 100 coming with their couple, so there'll be about 250 people at the dinner, plus the picnic the next day, Sunday at Wabash. I know one of the main things we're all going to want to know about is, like, where have we been, but now where are we going? You know, have any of you been thinking about, you know, what you plan to do for the next 20 years?
I'll let Leigh start.
Well, I'm a sailor, so I'd just like to sail into the sunset.
Oh, I hear you, yes.
So that's my plans.
I plan on beginning next spring, January possibly, going back to school and picking up a specialist degree at Southwest Missouri State. Now, what I do after that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, for myself, broadcasting is where I'd like to go. I'd like to do interview shows. I love people, and I think it's a 180-degree turn from where I used to be. I used to be in sales and very math and science-oriented, and I could never do all this creative stuff. But I'm finding that I've done it. For those of us in the audience, they may have seen a mini documentary that was on Friday, which I interviewed some of the teachers and some of the former students and the football coach, Johnson, who talked about that we had won the regional division the first year of McClure, and it's the only year. I'm sorry, McClure, but you know, let's get with it. You know, 20 years. Next year, maybe you should do the same at least. And that was a tremendous experience, seeing Mr. DeWitt, the biology teacher, and Mrs. Livingston, the gym teacher, and seeing the schools very much like they were. They're integrated now, which is, I feel very pleased and very proud of, you know, that we're part of the voluntary integration program. So it makes me very pleased to have been a McClure graduate, you know. I was wondering what else we might think of. One of the things we were mentioning was the high school ring. And Leigh, you might want to talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think it was very exciting. We went to McClure as such for junior high. And then we went to sophomore and junior years at Ferguson High School. That was our name of the school. And then we were very fortunate, I think, as a class. We were able to name the school. We had how they gave us so much power, I'll never know, but I think they trusted us. We designed the school ring and the colors and the school song, so I think our class was pretty important in the beginning of McClure's tradition.
So you were part of the committee.
I was in the ring committee, yes, yes.
Yes, well, I still have my ring.
Lucky you.
Where's your ring? Where's your ring?
I'll find it.
All right. Well, I think, have any of you thought about the reunion dinner itself? Do you have any expectations of what you think you'll find there, of the friends that you used to have, or anything?
I haven't been in contact with anyone, so I'm just so totally excited about seeing everybody. So
right.
I think Leigh and I both discussed earlier that we've pretty well lost contact with most of the people. I've had some communications with Jack Aarons in the last month or so, and he plans on being there Friday night at the pool party.
Okay.
And other than Jack, he's really the only one I've ever kept contact with.
I'm also looking forward to the picnic, to meet the kids and of the kids I went to school with. It's nice to see parents in a different light, or my friends in a different light. So that's
I think the greatest excitement. I will show off my children.
Yes,
you know, because I think they're just so great, and I think that's in some ways, you know, I think your occupation has a great deal to talk about what have you become, you know, but your children do too, just as much, I think, in trying to balance your life and family life and stuff. I think it's important. I think one thing too in the documentary I talk about is that it's not just the good times we want to talk about and share, but what about some of the tough times? You know, if there have been any things in your life that you've really, once you've worked through it, have helped you really become the solid person that you are today? I see how solid you are, but you know what I mean. Has something happened in your lives that has really affected you profoundly, that has helped you be a better person?
Well, I think if I were to name one person that was most instrumental in my becoming what I am today, I think it would probably be Dr. Ludwig. I think he gave me the drive and the incentive to go on to school after high school, because at that point I really had no desire to go on with my education.
Now, Dr. Ludwig was the assistant principal.
No, he was the principal.
He was the principal.
Yeah.
Okay, there were two at that time. We were so big. One of the first really large classes. That's great to know. What about you, Leigh?
I think I was the school was very large, and I think it got me to go to a smaller college, which I enjoyed. I think the experiences that we had at McClure were very broad, and I think it gave you a good base, and then you could go on to channel yourself into, I think, a little more specific areas, and so I enjoyed that.
That's good. Well, for myself, I think I've had a lot of experiences having lived in the Caribbean and meeting a lot of people, having become a member of the Baha'i Faith many years ago and traveling to Israel and Europe and Canada and Mexico. And I love traveling with people. I think that's been one of the greatest things. Not a sad thing, but I guess the divorce after 16 years, that was tough. But I think coming through it, I think learning how to be friends after that, and that we have the beauty of our children together and growing from that. That's been one of those things that's, you know, been really, well, anyway, thank you for being with us so much. It's such a joy to see you both. And I mean, I didn't have many friends at school. I have to say this. I didn't have a lot of friends for whatever reasons, but these were two of my very best, and it's just great you could come.
Well,
so we're going to have a great reunion.
Thank you. Can't wait.
So I'd like you to stay tuned now for Family Health coming up next.